Once you've signed up for a free account, you'll get this initial screen here, and we're going to create a project by clicking on Create. This then opens our project window or our mix editor. And we're going to start by creating some drum beats using a drum machine. So if we click on drum machine, it then opens up this screen, and down at the bottom of the screen we can see our drum kit, and it's in a grid form, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then up here we can see that our drum machine is in our project window, and it's a whole track, and that in the track Bandlab has already got two patterns or two different regions. Region with pattern A is here, and then pattern B is here. And so if I just click on pattern A, then if we go down here to the bottom of the window, we'll see we've got the patterns over here on the right, and we can have 8 different patterns, and we can see that this is what is already been entered for pattern A. Let's have a listen to pattern A. And it will keep on just playing pattern A in a loop. Up here in the project window, we can then decide how many times we actually want to hear pattern A and pattern B, or if we want to hear them at all. We could completely delete them for now and just work down here in our drum machine. Now, I think the best way of showing you how this drum machine works is just to get rid of everything. And so if I click and drag, it will actually get rid of everything down here. And if I were to just put something in every single box, this will show you how a drum machine works if you've never used one before. Sometimes you might want a sound like that. And so what we're going to do in this first session is just experiment with a few things. We're going to just try having our bass drum playing 4 beats in the bar. And then I've added a hi-hat there. Now let me add another drum. And you can see how quickly I can build up a pattern. Each one of these areas here of 4 squares represents a beat within the bar. We've got 4 beats in the bar, and then each beat is divided down into 4 sections. So really, when you're creating your first drum beat, you can experiment. You can try different things out. If you don't like something, you can delete it. And then if you want to, you can move on to the next beat. If I click on C, we'll have an empty canvas. And we can even change some of these drums. So we could have a clap sound if we wanted to. So let's play this. And the great thing about this drum editor is that you can keep it playing and keep adding things as you go. Now you might be thinking that you want to change the drum kit sound, and over here we can find some different types of drum kit. So we can go to say a jazz kit and see what that sounds like. Now you may have noticed that the hand claps aren't available in my jazz kit, and that's because it's a different type of drum kit. And so you can experiment with the different drum kits that are available and see what drums are included in them. Here we've got some, let's listen to some dubstep kits. and see what they sound like. And when you've decided on the patterns that you want, so if we want pattern B, we just click Add Pattern B. That will then add that pattern to our project window. And now if we press play, you will see that it's just played it once. If we want it to happen again, we click on this little arrow icon here and just drag it out. And so we've got 4 bars now of our dubstep pattern B. And it might be that you want to change the speed of this pattern. Well, we can do this up here. BPM stands for beats per minute. And if I click and drag up, the beats per minute get larger in number. This number gets larger, and this means it gets faster. We're increasing our tempo and it's getting faster. If you then wanted to add another drum beat or another pattern, then we take our this line here to bar number 5, go down to this pattern and and if we just want to add that in, just have one of pattern C, and then we could go to bar 6 and go back to pattern B and add that again. And so we can start to build up a real sense of a piece of music. And start to build up not just one drum beat, but different drum beats all strung together in a line. And Bandlab is really easy to use for this. And we're going to be able to add lots of other things, but I thought it'd be good to start with experimenting with a drum beat and thinking about rhythmic patterns. Rhythms are made up of lots of different beats that are put together, and beats are when we hit a drum, we create a drum beat, and some beats last for kind of more time than others. So we get beats that are half a beat long, or a whole beat long, or a quarter of a beat long. And if we think about it, if we just have one beat, or one of these coloured squares in each one of these kind of 4 square rows here, each one of these is just lasting for 1 beat, or a crotchet. If, however, we put 2 in each of our sets of 4, then they are lasting for half a beat, or a quaver. I'm just going to turn it down to 100 beats per minute, or roughly. And if we have 1 in every single box, we have semi-quavers. And you might be familiar with those terms. Quaver is half a beat, semi-quaver is a quarter beat, and then a crotchet is 1 whole beat. Just a little bit of something to think about alongside this. But what I want you to do now is enjoy creating some drum beats, enjoy creating some patterns, be experimental, listen to the different drum kits that are available, and really enjoy experimenting with the drum machine inside bandlab.com.